Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for joining the show today. A few weeks ago, I had Executive Director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, Linda Haglund, on the show, and we were talking about the banners you may have seen downtown when we were talking about it off camera, and I wanted to have her come back and bring some of the people behind the hero banners that you see downtown during the month of November, and I brought her back today to talk about that with all of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I love coming here. It just kind of feels like home.
Well, that's good, because when I had you on last time, there were so many things I wanted to cover, so the nice thing is that you're right down the street and we can have you back.
I am right down the
thanks
street.
Thanks for coming. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. Talk about, this is the second year, and just let everyone who isn't familiar with the project just give an overview, please.
So I was privileged to attend a national conference for my job. It's called the National Main Street Conference. And what I love about it is that we talk about best practices throughout the United States. And there was a small community that did this project. It was in Kansas. And I came home and said, we have to figure out how to do this. So
and the project is
our hero banners, right? So this community has been doing it a long time. And so the wonderful thing about the job that I have, I reached out to that community, my counterpart in that community, and said, how did you do this? You know, what is the process? So they shared it with me, a complete process, so I could adapt it then to our local, a little bit of a local flair. And last year was our first attempt of this. And basically what the program is that people donate $200 to this banner. And every dime of this, beyond the actual making of the banner, goes to local veteran services. You're going to meet today where the money this year is going. And the 21 banners we did last year was incredibly transformational, not only for the heroes and their families, but for our organization. I wanted the message to be clear that in this place, we honor our heroes. And so as we looked into year two, I reached out, and reached back to me was George, and you're going to meet George in a little bit, from the Bunker Vets Serving Vets. Can we help you in this endeavor to get stories and get pictures? And that was, of course, absolutely yes. So we were able to go from 21 banners there are 84 banners hanging in both Wenatchee and East Wenatchee.
You had so many you crossed the river.
We did. We have 54 banners that are hanging, 56 banners, excuse me, that are hanging in Wenatchee, and 28 banners that are hanging in East Wenatchee, which is even a better message, because the message now is very clear in this valley, in this community, both sides of the river, we honor our heroes. What was unexpected to me was it changed me. It changed my heart. And I knew they were heroes walking among us every day. I didn't know their stories. And hearing their stories has been probably one of the most pivotal things that have happened to me in any job I've ever had in this community. What is clear to me is, regardless of where the hero served, whether I have a Civil War hero this year that obviously I didn't get to talk to, his great-grandson submitted him, but whether that hero was World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, or Afghanistan, wherever those heroes served, what is absolutely consistent is they're all humble people who do not consider themselves heroes. They were called, either enlisted or for whatever reason, joined the military to serve and protect our country. And they just did what they signed up to do. And getting their stories, getting a picture has been difficult. Getting their stories has been equally difficult.
I have interviewed several veterans over the course of my career in radio and television, and I find the same thing to be true. And then once you get to talking, then they open up in a way they hadn't expected. And I always think that that's such an honor to get to hear those stories. I think that any type of storytelling, right? It expands our own experience, and it helps us to see into the lives of other people.
reading their stories and compiling them, because a part of this is the Wenatchee World is gracious enough to produce a booklet. And that booklet will come out this Friday, just before Veterans Day, telling all the stories. So they help us compile this. So we get the stories, put them together alphabetically. And as I read these stories, it is almost for me like sacred ground. These are very personal hero stories. Families have surprised family members by honoring them. That's sometimes received well, sometimes not, but the story is still the story of what it is. A pivotal moment for me happened this year with a hero in my office, relaying to me that this project represented to him a long overdue welcome home. And for our Vietnam veterans particularly, they didn't.
That's a very long
That is a
overdue.
long overdue welcome home. I had a hero just in my office before I came here. His sister submitted him, and with tears in his eyes, the pride that he had, the humble that he didn't consider himself a hero, and it was a little uncomfortable that his picture is hanging in downtown Wenatchee. But his eyes filled up with tears, and this very heroic man who was so humble said, I can't believe the community would do this, to honor us. It was so impactful for him. I stop and I breathe. It's one of those moments. And I like to say that I didn't get the honor to serve my country, but I've had the incredible honor to serve in a little way those who did. And for me and our organization, who doesn't make a penny off of this all comes in and goes out for good reason, this is pretty significant. A special thank you, obviously, to the Wenatchee World. And Cherry Creek Radio did a promotion where we had two significant businesses, Precision Waterjet and Plum Perfect, kick in significant money for a lot of these banners. But
Because each banner is $200.
and they hang 2 years, 2 Novembers. And then after November, the second November, the family gets to keep the banner. It goes back to them. But also both mayors. So both mayors, they have a welcome kind of in the front of this book. And then a special thank you too when you get the booklet and you have a chance to look at it, as it will be distributed on Friday. Take special note. I have a hero this year who said, Linda, do you care? I'm connected still to the military. Can I get you a letter from a retired admiral? Oh, well, hello, right?
Of course you can.
That letter came, and it just so happens to be retired Admiral Bill Owens. And Bill Owen was the vice chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff appointed under President Bill Clinton, served our country for over 35 years, overseeing troops in Vietnam, a Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan. His letter is thoughtful and wonderful. This means something, This work has been, again, for me, incredibly heartwarming and rewarding. And just to meet my heroes. They come into my office or families and bring pictures, and I always get to say, here comes one of my heroes, right? Mm-hmm. Here comes another one of my heroes. I have 84 now. Wow. And there's so many other stories we haven't told.
So when you, for the people who are watching, this is recorded. So the booklets that you're talking about are coming out this Friday, will have already come out. So how would people go about getting
the Wenatchee World will have them. The families, I will get a few extras for the families. The Wenatchee World will have distributed this, and they will have additional copies available. I would just recommend that when you do get the booklet, you take your children, your grandchildren, your family, and take the booklet and do a walk of your heroes. In East Wenatchee, they're really easy. It's up 9th Street that turns into 8th Street. All 28 are in there. And just look at the faces. There are some original military pictures, some current pictures. Dr. Gene Sherritt is a local picture of him now, and he's up there by Bella Bistro by Memorial Park. But just look at the heroes, and then when you see your heroes in this community or find out someone served, just say thank you. Thank you, and the pride that, they did what they were called to do, but they did what they were called to do. And we as a community need to embrace and thank them more than we ever do. And so
I think that's a great idea to take your family along that walk. It's kind of like, taking your families to look at all the Christmas lights, but so much more important, right? And to get to walk and see all of it and really explain to your children and your family what a veteran is. Some kids are too young to understand.
That's right.
And certainly we have a misconception in this country about what a hero is, so that would be a good lesson as well.
We have two that are, one is Edgar Reinfeld. He's a captain for the Wenatchee Police Department. Our mayor has a CPA office, right? So Mayor Frank Kuntz, but CPA Frank Kuntz paid for two of his employees' banners, and one of them is Edgar Reinfeld, who still is serving today in the National Guard, and he is a local police officer. And Terry England, she's the assistant to the chief of police locally, still here in our community. Many of the heroes, some have passed already, many are still alive walking our city. So this will be available again next year, and the 21 will roll off.
Right.
These 6, so we just want to keep replenishing them, and there is an opportunity for people to engage with us all year long to get set up for next year. There are heroes among us, and my challenge to everybody is find them and thank them. It might be your neighbor.
Yeah.
It might
That's
just
great.
be your neighbor.
That's wonderful. So when we come back, we're going to visit with Duane Broadus first, and then George Turner, and we'll tell you more about them when they come. We're not going to call them heroes because, as you said, they're humble, right? They don't want to be called heroes, but
They're not going to be comfortable with that.
but we're going to talk with them and find out their involvement in this whole process. We'll be back in just a minute. Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for tuning in today. We talked earlier with Linda Haglund. She's the executive director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, and we're talking about Honoring Our Heroes banner project. And now we have joining us Duane Broadus. Thanks for being here.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here. I know this is a really soft subject to your heart, so I appreciate you sharing with the audience about the bunker volunteers. So if you can just give us a brief overview of what that is, but also kind of how that is involved with the banner project.
Well, it can't be too brief. The bunker is a very special organization. We are a group of veterans that formed many years ago, 13 years ago, I think, and before that I was trying to pull this off on my own for about 3 years. It came about because I became a 100% disabled veteran fighting for my benefits, and guilt took over, and I needed to find a way to give back, and I started helping people that lived up at the Lake Wenatchee area and some of the veterans, and it worked. I would tell them how to write letters, see a counselor, or do this, and
So you're helping advocate for their own.
Exactly. And so they started getting their benefits, and it just excited me, so I wanted to do more. And so I went to Wenatchee and hooked up with the Marine Corps League and met several people there, Bob Ashford, Ron Bruno, and Mark Harley, and the four of us decided, let's try to do this on our own. And what we were going to do is, we had no idea what we were doing, we just knew we wanted to help veterans. So that's how it got started.
And you're a Vietnam veteran.
I am a Vietnam veteran. I served in the Marine Corps in '68, '69 up in I Corps, which was a terrible place. So I do have combat experience. I came home and I was a PTSD boy, severe to chronic. And this has been a challenge, and along the way, dealing with the VA, I've learned a whole bunch of stuff. And the guys that I just mentioned, they're also people that have gone through the VA healthcare system. And we've all learned little nicks and shortcuts, and basically that's what we do. We get money from people that come in and watch and see what we do, and they want to help us, much like this banner project.
So private donors.
Private donor only. And none of us make a dime. It's all
Volunteers.
It's all volunteer. So an example of our day, a person walks to the door. I might recognize the gentleman as a homeless person or a PTSD guy. We then welcome that person and we go back and interview him, make sure he's comfortable first, and then we find out what is his needs. Is he PTSD? Does he need a tire on his car? Is he homeless? So once we establish that, then we can reach out to our community partners and say, okay, this guy needs a tire. This guy needs a counselor. This guy is homeless, he needs a house. So what we do then, we'll make a phone call, Ron and I, we all have our phones that connect to our community. I can call the Section 8 housing people at our VA clinic, and within days, we'll have that person on his way looking for a home. If he needs clothes or food, we can take care of him right there. And that's pretty amazing to do that, to be
So
able
it
to pull
started
that
out
off.
with you being frustrated with your own route to benefits.
Oh my gosh, it was such a battle.
To
Yes.
helping with the benefits, and now also providing shelter, food.
Every time we win, it's a win.
For everyone.
For everyone. It's addicting work. It's hard work. Sometimes you get very close to the people that you're helping. And we have dealt with suicide within our walls, and it's not easy. But there's so many bright, shining episodes that we've had that would just totally surprise you. People are constantly asking, how can we help you? Come in and sit down with us. Watch us. Watch what we do. And sometimes people come in and say, well, you need food in your shelves, or you don't have enough clothes, or maybe you need some money. Things like that. So it's a discovery for people to come and learn and watch. But one thing we've done over the years, probably the thing I'm most proud of, is that we do what we say we'll do. And we have for many years.
So people can count on
People
you
trust
don't
us.
overpromise, but
We
you know how to
trust.
deliver.
They trust us. And that's one thing about a veteran, that if he does not or she does not trust you, you're not going to be able to help them. They can come in and tell me a story about the saddest, most horrific experience. What I try to do is find out, okay, how can I help this person not to be in this situation a month from now? How can I get him squared away with either a voucher for a home?
You have to just take it a piece at a time.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't get the full story till 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 visits. So you're always trying to take the next step to figure out what's best. The money that this banner project has given us, it's opened up many doors.
So you're a beneficiary of the banners that are $200. $200 goes. It doesn't just cover the cost of making the banner, but it
Sure.
benefits your organization
Yeah.
as well.
You know, a person comes in and they're down and they don't have enough money for a phone. That happens frequently. But I wanted to be sure that you knew that each veteran, each person that comes in, we verify that they are veterans, because there are a lot of phonies out there. Like some of the stories
Hard to
we have
believe,
heard,
but,
you know, I'm a veteran. What do you do? Well, I'll kill people, you know.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that. So as our job at the bunker is to first of all, make people comfortable, make sure they are who they say they are, and then find a way to help them. Our partners in the community, like you are now one of our partners, it wouldn't hurt my feelings to come and ask you, hey, could we have a little airtime to explain this situation? Same way with a doctor or an attorney or a mechanic or tons and tons of people, businesses that might be able to give us apples or food or whatever the case may be. That's how we survive. And it's worked so good for so long, and it's an adrenaline rush, really. When you help somebody, well, I'll give you the best example. The other day, my wife and I went into a restaurant. And as I entered the place, there was a young man sitting there, and he was so glad to see me. He jumps up, he shakes my hand, and Duane, I'm doing so well. Thank you so much. This is my family. And I couldn't remember his name. And if he's watching, forgive me. But anyway, I got out of it. We went and sat down, and Corky said, who was that? And I said, well, I remember the face. I can't remember the name, but I'm sure I helped him a lot. But that was such a reward. You know, knowing that that young man went out from the bunker, took the advice we gave him, and either pursued a job or pursued getting his benefits or whatever the case may be, but it finally came back to the bunker. And it just makes all the effort worthwhile.
Well, and even if you didn't remember his name, the impact that you had on his life, you're impacting so many lives, and you're encountering so many people, and all of them are special. So the name part, I wouldn't feel too bad about.
Well, I
It's the
do,
work
but
you
I
did.
understand.
Yes, yes. Well, we have to get. We're going to get to our next guest, George Turner. So I just want, for people who want to reach out to you and support the bunker, how would they do that?
Come see us, like I said. Sit down with us, explain.
Do you have a location here?
1250 North Wenatchee Avenue in the Harley Mall. We're open 9 to 1, 5 days a week. But the best way to come in is come in and get to know us, have a cup of coffee, share your story with us. If you're a veteran or even a non-veteran is welcome there. We never know who's going to walk in the door. It could be a little lady that's going to take a list of the groceries and then go buy some. You know, that kind of thing. Or it could be somebody that, well, I can donate a chair. It's whatever you can do. And it's pretty humbling to be in that position. You know, we can't take everything, but there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in this community, like this young lady, out there figuring out a way to raise dollars for us, and it's phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate you coming here and sharing
Thank
your
you.
story. I really do. So you have the information about reaching out. If you're a veteran and need that support, or you're a person in the community who can help, please do so. We'll be back in just a moment.
Great, thank you much.
Hi, we're here talking about honoring our Heroes Banner Project. I'm here with Linda Haglund, and now George Turner has joined us. Thanks so much for being here.
I'm very happy to be here.
We are here to thank you, and we want to take a few minutes to do that. And Linda has told me that you're a guy who doesn't like a lot of thanks, so you go ahead.
Well, this project changed for me the day George Turner walked in my office. I've jokingly said I've worked for George through this. He is such an advocate for heroes in our community and those who have served, and his work with the bunker and with Duane. But for this project, he was instrumental in talking to businesses and people to sponsor a banner. Let's get the stories told. And it was instrumental and changed, and I believe without George, we would have never gotten to the 63 new banners we had this year to get us to 84. So for our organization to be able to give back to this nonprofit called NCW Vets Serving Vets, the bunker, has been one of the most significant things we've got to do this year.
And what was the importance for you to do that?
It's just a very rewarding thing. Helping veterans, helping Linda, helping people.
And that's the whole motivation behind all of it, to get to the storytelling.
It's very
part is
selfish.
Such a
I'm
special-
very selfish.
I've heard about you, and I would not describe you as selfish.
Well, it really feels, Duane will tell you the same thing. There's no feeling like helping somebody.
Well, I've really encouraged the community to take a look at the banners downtown in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. You'll find the stories that George and Linda have helped collect over the last couple of years. They'll be up through all of the month of November, correct?
It is.
Take your family, take a walk, learn about the veterans in our community. Some have passed, some are still here, like George and Duane. And we just want to honor you and thank you for being here, and thank you for all the work that you do.
We'll talk about the bunker or the banners anytime you want.
Well, you can come here. You have a pass to come here anytime you like.
I take it.
So thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Linda, for bringing this together.
well,
I really appreciate all that you
Thank
do.
you to NCWLIFE TV for allowing nonprofits like this critical airtime to tell our messages. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, what I like to tell people about Cheap Fitness is you'll never get bored here and you'll never be judged. My top priority is making sure people feel welcome here, no matter your age, experience, or ability. The majority of new people that come through our door, they've never even put on a boxing glove. That's why our staff is here to help you and show you through the ropes.
It's hugely empowering. I mean, you walk out and you feel like you've accomplished something.